This is the teeny tiny mechanical keyboard I built for my Altoid Cyberdeck project. Today, I'm going to go through how this keyboard works, how I built it, and how I programmed it. Let's start by talking about diode matrix keyboards. A diode matrix is simply a grid of buttons wired in rows and columns. Here I've marked where the buttons sit on the top of the keyboard so you can get an idea of the wiring. Each column and each row connects to an input pin on the microcontroller. Each button sits at the intersection of a row and column. Each button also has a diode. The diodes act as one-way valves, isolating each button and preventing ghosting. This means that each row-column pair will only be activated by one specific button. You can button mash all you want. So this is how I've wired the columns. I have a total of 11 columns in this keyboard, each wired to the controller as shown in the electrical schematic. The electrical schematic is available on my hackaday.io project page, linked in the description. And this is how I've wired the rows. I have a total of 4 rows, giving me 44 keys total, using only 15 inputs on the microcontroller. I made this keyboard very compact by soldering the button pins together to form the columns. Each button shares a through hole with the button above and below it in the column. This only works because I broke one pin off each 4-pin button. Each button has 4 pins, 2 pairs on either side of the switch. Pressing the button connects one pair to the other pair. Removing one pin means I have an extra spot where I can put the diode. Pressing the button then connects the pair of pins on one side, which form the column, to the single pin on the other side, which connects through the diode to the row. Hopefully that helps you understand how the keyboard works. To build this keyboard, there were a few components that I needed. I was even able to pick up a couple of them locally. You'll need a Protoboard or perf board, buttons, these are 4-pin 6x6 by 4.3mm tactile push buttons, diodes, these are 1N4148 200 mA 100 volt fast switching diodes, a microcontroller, this is an RP2040 by Waveshare. You'll also need some wire. I found 22 gauge solid core silicon wire, the easiest to work with on perf board. But I also used some 30 gauge standard silicone wire to save some space. You need some pliers, utility knife, wire strippers, a soldering iron, and a PCB holder will make your life much easier. I also like to use a silicone soldering mat and a soldering fan. First, I prepared the protoboard by cutting it down to size to fit in an Altoid's tin lid. You can score the perf board with a utility knife and then snap it off against the straight edge. But be careful while you're doing this. I used some side cutters to round out the corners, and then I smoothed the sharp edges with a file. I kept the board a bit wet to minimize the fiberglass dust. I planned out the layout of my board, removed a single pin from each button. I then placed the buttons one column at a time, quickly soldering the columns together to keep them in place. With the buttons on the board, I bent the diodes to shape and pressed them into place. The diodes have an anode and a cathode side. The cathode side is marked by a black line. The anode should be soldered to the button, and the cathode is then connected to the row. Again, working one column at a time, I bent the diode wires to keep them in place. I then soldered each diode and removed the excess link from the anode side. I then bent the cathode out of the way, and when all the diodes were soldered in place, I began connecting each row. I did this by bending and cutting the cathode side diode wires to form the rows, and soldering them together. Once all the buttons were in, I went through and added solder to each joint to ensure a proper connection. I soldered pins on the RP2040 and then soldered that in place on the perf board. I connected each column and each row to the RP2040 using some of the 30 gauge and 22 gauge wire. Because there are so many columns, I used the 30 gauge to save some space on the board. I then used red 22 gauge wire for the remaining columns and white 22 gauge wire for the rows, giving it its final aesthetic. To program the keyboard, I used KMK. There are lots of good tutorials on how to use it. I'll link the one I used in the description. A good beginner's guide is also available on the KMK GitHub. First, I flashed the RP2040 with CircuitPython by holding down the boot button and plugging it into the computer. Then I downloaded the latest version of KMK from their GitHub and copied the files to the 0. Since KMK is CircuitPython based, you can edit the code directly with no need to compile. Following the KMK guide, I set up my code.py file with my key map. To create the key map, it's important to tell the firmware if you're using column to row or row to column. I'm using column to row, as the diodes point from the column to the row. I made a base layer and a function layer for my keyboard. Once the file is saved, you can test it immediately with it hooked up to your computer. With the programming done, there was just a couple finishing touches. I used a white gel pen to mark the keys to match the key map I had programmed. Then I put some Kapton tape on the back of the keyboard to prevent shorting against the metal frame of the Altoid tin. And it was ready to be installed in my Altoid Cyberdeck. If you haven't already, please check out my full build video on the Altoid deck. And a big thanks to my Ingenuity Engine members, Escotofio and Solgood2, as well as my Deal Idler members for making this video possible. Interested in becoming a member, you can check out my channel or take a look at the link in the description. I also want to thank everyone who's subscribed to the channel in the last couple weeks. People love Altoids and people love Cyberdecks. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth explanation of the keyboard for the Altoid build, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.